My pick-ems are in shambles. FaZe is out. G2 is out. Na'Vi is out. Everything we thought was going to happen didn't. And that leaves us with two questions. What the is going on? And two, who is going to win CSGO's last major? So it turns out in my last video, I was absolutely correct. The Paris Major is turning out to be the most unpredictable tournament in CSGO history. All of the storylines that were set in motion to potentially cap off the end of this era basically vanished into thin air. Nico will never get his CSGO Major, and Simple won't be crowned king one last time.
Dude, they've got to be a little bit worried about that. Showing up as Carrigan though, oh my god! A heroic defense comes in with a double, and he will get grenaded out of it, but he bought his team a chance. Broke. He's not done yet, and you're right. There is a flank coming through. They're not ready for it. Rain gets a kill, and it's all on the GOAT. 1 versus 2 to try and keep his team alive, keep the dream alive for them. Oh, they're right up behind him. The flick not connecting, and he is brought down. Brokey to send Na'Vi out of the major. And FaZe, they made the comeback into overtime, into double overtime, and they have done it.
And FaZe limps into the playoffs and end the dream of a final CSGO major for Na'Vi, for Simple, for Electronic. Their legacies end early.
Now, despite all our pick'ems being cooked, the dream of a storybook ending is still very much alive. But before we get into what that might look like, let's talk about how we got here. The Challenger stage immediately kicked things off with some pretty surprising upsets. Although the big three eventually made it through, top 20 teams like Mouse, OG, and Pain fell in dramatic fashion.
Right up above him, Dexter with 1, and he needs more, but nothing further here from Mouse.
This then led to a ton of CSGO fans and talking heads levying some complaints against the tournament system. And if you're new to these all too common gripes, allow me to explain. To start off, the way the seeding works often leads to some brutal matchups. You know, when two teams with equal skill and following have to face off in elimination rounds early on. For a tournament to be as engaging as possible, you're going to want to see the best matchups further down the line. And although it's cool to see unknown teams do well, it's sometimes hard to get the same viewership for that. However, the seeding and qualification problems are just the tip of the iceberg. People's real problems lie with the best of 1 format. In the Challenger and Legend stages, best of 3s are exclusively reserved for decider matches, so if a team is advancing or being eliminated. Time and time again, this leads to really good teams falling behind early. Now, the very common counterpoint to this is just win your matches. And while there is some truth to that, we are missing some nuance. As I also said in my last video, the skill gap between teams has all but evaporated. Everyone's gotten very good at shooting each other in the face, so what it really takes to win a match comes down to strategy. And over the course of any given year, the top 20 teams in the world often face off against each other, so the majority of their strategies are based off of those experiences, which is exactly how a team like Liquid can lose to a team like FaZe. Liquid has never faced this roster before. In contrast, Liquid is probably the most dissected team in the history of the game, so FaZe has plenty of VODs to study. Now, take away the skill gap and make it a best of 1, and that's how you get an upset.
Molotov smoked out. You know that peak's coming. OC just waiting, and Shelfie does the exact same thing. Molly is not on top of the bomb. It doesn't spread. OC's gonna stick it all the way or not. Shelfie, in the dying seconds, sends Liquid to the O2 group.
However, this is nothing new. We all knew what the format was going to be heading into this. So there's no real surprises when shit like this happens. That being said, nothing could really prepare us for the second stage. To kick things off, Nine and Furia would be the two teams to go 0-3. And while maybe we all hyped up the Polish squad a bit too much, Furia's performance was unbelievably disappointing. Listen, I am an outspoken Brazil enjoyer, but you can't deny that over the last few years, even given their ups and downs, Furia has been the most electrifying team to watch. But seeing them fail to get a single T-side round in 2 best of 1s, I mean, it's clear that they just weren't there as a team. And as many echoed on Twitter, I think it's best to just forget this performance, and maybe it won't be what the boys are remembered for. Now, fortunately for me, Furia's disastrous showing wasn't even the biggest lowlight of the Legend stage. Na'Vi and G2, 2 of the best teams in the world, have been eliminated and won't be in the playoffs, which is a pretty big deal. Now, the story of Na'Vi getting knocked out is its own can of worms. I'm serious, it's some real anime-ass shit. We're going to need to do a separate video on it, so just stay tuned for that. But if you're an outsider, all you have to know is that Simple, the greatest player of all time, will not be on stage for the final CSGO major. Unfortunately, things get a lot worse, because on the other side, you have G2 and Nico. Not only has Nico, one of the most mechanically gifted players in the world, never won a major, but he came within an arm's length twice before, and both times he failed in spectacular fashion. At this point, there are probably no words to describe how Nico fans are feeling right now, but I know damn well it can't be any worse than the things he has to say for himself.
Nothing really much. Obviously didn't deserve any of them. Was close. Many chances has slipped away. New chapter starting in CS2. And that's it.
Okay, shit just got super bummy. I'm sorry. So let's bring things back up because we still got a ton of CS left. And there's a lot of cool outcomes we can see. So, who really has a chance at winning this major? Gamer Legion, Monty, Apex, sure. Why the f not? Literally anything is possible at this point. But if we want to look at the big guns, what are the options? Well, Vitality and Heroic are still the most consistent looking teams out there. As I expected, they have both made it through without a single loss. So once again, if I were a betting man, it's a coin flip between them two. Slight edge to Vitality. But that's the thing, I'm not a betting man. I'm a man of passion and loyalty to my region. And by God, if Liquid had a chance at winning a goddamn major, it's now. They started off this tournament by getting absolutely bounced by Apex and Fours. I erased them from my pick-ems out of spite, but they proved everyone wrong and clawed their way back with a vengeance.
That's the nature of this B anchor role, right? You go from getting nothing to 100% all in one go, and Naf, he is giving 100% right now. On for the ace, and he's gonna get it.
OC, and especially Naf, are putting up major MVP numbers right now. And if they all get their shit together, I honestly think they have a good chance at this. That being said, for every team left, there's one hell of a journey ahead of them. But win it all, and you will forever be the final kings of CSGO. We did one before, and I also named it Paris Major Roundup. So this is part 2. It won't be named that, obviously.
That's when you know you're omnipotent on YouTube. When you can just go, Paris Major Roundup 2, and like people are like,
6 billion.
I can't wait to watch.
Yeah, Critical could do that video, and it would do like 4 million. We all knew this was going to be the format going in, so I don't really underpants. I don't really underpants.